as much as I enjoyed the film, sir, part of me wishes that you played like a Jack Pride and Colin Farrell was like Ed Glory, and it was kind of a Tango and Cash kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Tango and Cash, slightly different film.
Slightly.
You could have said 10 Speed and Brown Shoe and really
Wow, up
dated
my
yourself.
cred. Yeah, exactly. You're right. I'm a kid of the '80s. What can I say? But talk to me about. I mean, obviously, this is a film that's steeped in kind of like the Sidney Lumet '70s school of filmmaking, cop movies. Fan of that?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, Serpico especially, I think, is the Serpico stands out for me. I mean, Lumet made so many great films, even beyond, the 70s. I think, you look at movies like Night Falls on Manhattan,
Q&A.
Q&A.
Yep.
These are fantastic films, and but I think the reason Serpico to me really stands out is because it's a very generational film. Like, it kind of lifts up above just the genre of cop corruption because it's almost like Serpico was the hippie. He was the hippie cop. He was the cop for the counterculture, and like that generation, I think, could really see themselves in Serpico. And when Gavin O'Connor came and said, I want to make this film, and I sort of said, why do another one of these? And we got talking, and the country was going. The United States has been going through all these scandals of institutional lying, issues of torture and issues of people who are serving noble institutions and noble causes, facing moments where they have to decide if they're going to tell the truth about things that we're doing, and so it felt to me. I mean, I hoped in a way that there was something in this that was a little bit above just a cop drama, that was about these things that the country's been facing lately.
And about people that are slowly but surely kind of shifting from, I mean, these aren't black and white, good and evil people. They're people that, like, know Emmerich's character.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just like you take one small step and then it becomes a larger step, and before you know it, you're corrupt.
Yeah, and the gradients, the different, the active corruption, the corruption of looking the other way, there's a lot of different kinds, and I think, for me, not to put too fine a point on it, but I think John Voight is really, really wonderful in this film. Like, he really captures, I think, that what I would call that, like, Donald Rumsfeld kind of generational thing of having been in an institution so long that you forget what the institution is serving. Like, he's that guy who's almost lost the plot, and the institution has become its own good.
Is it possible for you as a filmmaker to take off the filmmaker hat when you're on set and give yourself totally to a Gavin O'Connor? I mean, can you focus on just sort of like your work, or do you see it as kind of like you have to look at the larger whole?
That's a very good question. I think, it depends on the point in the process. It's always preferable to me to, if I'm just working as an actor like I was in this one, to have a period like in rehearsal and in prep where you're talking about what you're doing and the macro and mining the director's sense of the drama and stuff like that, and debating things like the shape of the story and things like that. Ideally, you work all that out and you get into it and you sort of get to let that go, and trust is an enormously important part of it all, because you're sort of handing this to a director. But in this one, we shot it in such real places. We never shot sets. We shot locations, and so it was very easy to slide into the reality of this. We were shooting up in Washington Heights, and I never found it difficult to sort of slide into the feeling of it.
Can you talk about, I mean, I was talking again to Noah Emmerich about this. It's interesting, these kind of films, like, it's gritty, it's like in the moment, it feels real, yet they can operate on an almost operatic kind of scale. Like the emotions are big, the choices are big. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting kind of dichotomy, and an interesting line to kind of like negotiate, I would think, for you as an actor.
It is. I think, there's that, I always say, like, you don't want to go see a movie about just any other day. You know, it's like if you're going to see a story, something in the whole. Whenever we tell stories about something special that happened, a certain moment, you know, where something important happened and in the character's life. So in these characters' lives, this is their desperate hour in a way. And you're right. Like the thing I think that's always challenging is, you know, how do you tell a dramatic story but root it in a way that makes it feel everyday and real. And I think Gavin, I think one of the things I like most about the film is that Gavin pursued this, like you talked about the 70s, but he pursued this very like cinema verite feeling. I think he really chased the feeling that you're walking into these bodegas right behind these guys. You know, that the light and the textures and the dialogue. He told us, I don't care if people understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like
well, if it feels real, you'll go with it. Like if you sense that authenticity.
Yeah, I think, and I think a lot of times people talk about, will people understand? And it's a great thing for filmmakers sometimes to go, people don't need to understand. They want to feel that you understand.
Exactly.
You know, so.
You know they're going to kill me back at MTV if I don't ask you. Are you any part of you interested in reprising the Hulk in any form?
It's not.
If you're a betting man, do you think it's going to happen?
I really couldn't say. The minds of Marvel are sometimes opaque. I won't say obtuse, but opaque at least. I don't have any idea what they want to do. You know, they've got this notion of connecting the Marvel character. Who knows where they'll go?
And the Avengers is less of an interest for you than...
I'm not. I really actually have no information. I'm not even not sharing it. I don't know what the agenda is at the moment, but I'm sure you'll find out before me.
I don't think so. I was talking to Chuck Palahniuk the other day, and I've talked to David Fincher about this before, about a Fight Club musical. Are you intrigued by this idea that Fincher wants to mount this, I guess, next year or something?
This has been floating around. For a while. Different things. I've seen different notions of it. I
Trent
doubt
Reznor involved and something like that?
I doubt it'll be me and Brad. I know Brad can't sing.
I really liked you and Everyone Says I Love You. I have to say that.
Yeah, like Reznor would be about the right, kind of vibe for it, I guess.